Mother Nature says, you're always where you're meant to be, but in the end, you always come back to me. You know, I got this phrase and it makes sense. You know, you're always where you're meant to be, but in the end, you always come back to me. You know, at the end of the day, you get buried, you go back to the earth, you go back to Mother Nature. And we can extend that to Mother Universe. You know, your spirit leaves and go somewhere else. You never die, you're everlasting, right? So this is a phrase that I received just by being a few minutes in nature. It's an easy phrase, you know, but you know everybody can metabolize that. And yeah, that's how it is. So kudos to Mother Nature. We are part of her. We are her children. And actually, in the last few months, you know, I probably had one video or a couple of videos where I talked about how in a few occasions I felt uncomfortable. I felt like a sort of strange feelings in my legs when I was in my bed, you know, nighttime. Some sort of anxiety, which for me is very unusual, right? It's very unusual, and because I'm usually very cool, calm, and collected, you know, and I understand that many people can relate to that, right? And I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, I'm not an anxious person, you know. I'm not somebody that has like panic attack. I don't even know what that is, you know, based on, you know, me researching this type of stuff. You know, it's difficult to understand something that you never go through, right? And this is part of it, right? Anxiety or panic. What the fuck is that? And one day, I was laying in the grass, right? I believe I was sunbathing, and I dozed off a little bit, right? I don't know if I was doing some respiration or not, some easy meditation or not. But what happened is I had that feeling from the like almost from the bottom of my feet going upward, and I realized that I was feeling the way Mother Nature is feeling, right? So Mother Nature is very active, you know. Call it birth pains. If you go back to Revelation, the chapters of Revelation, you know, that concerning, you know, the activity of the volcanoes, the earthquakes, you know, the concept is as above, so below, as within, so without. So us being, let's say, an extension of Mother Nature's, you know, the ones that can really tap in, you know, and feel aligned with the heartbeat of the earth, you know, with its frequency, right? Potentially can feel that. And then that's what I felt. I realized that it wasn't me, you know, it wasn't me or a certain moment or condition that I was going through, you know, something unexplainable for me in that moment. It was actually like a word, a universal phenomena. I was feeling the way Mother Nature is feeling, you know. And the way I can describe that, again, as somebody that don't know about anxiety and, you know, panic attacks and things of that nature, I almost couldn't stay in my skin anymore. Like I felt like, you know, I had this burst of energy and I didn't know how to control it, right? It made me hyperactive in a sense, although I was staying in my bed, right? I didn't move from there. So, and that's Mother Nature. That's how she's feeling, right? So, and of course, you know, we got plenty of earthquakes that are not even reported, you know, volcanoes erupting like everywhere. So these are not reported in the media. But yeah, the more we tapped in, the more we can feel them, you know. And I'm an advocate for that, you know. Not that I'm doing my best diligence, I'll be honest, because I want to keep it honest all the time. But, you know, this journey brought me to be truly tapped in, and wow, like, hey, now even sometimes even without putting the effort, like what you did before, what you have seeded in the previous years, it's it comes to fruition, right? So this energy is coming back to you, it's coming back to us, and it's coming in a form of revelations, right? So Mother Nature speaks to us, we got these plenty of synchronistic events, and these days I got plenty of synchronistic events. As I said, I was thinking, you know I don't get this type of things, this sort of anxieties. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm cool, calm, and collected. And I thought, yeah, triple C, CCC, which is not 666, it's CCC. And in the alphabet C, it's the number 3, which is 333. That's a strong angelic. It's a strong angelic message. And that's how I felt today. These are the days where manifesting through your thoughts and your words, it's a very strong reality. Everything comes to fruition, everything appears in front of your eyes way quicker. So our ability to manifest, it's greater. And not just people that have a certain spiritual inclination. It's for everybody, but the rest of the world, the vast majority, don't even realize that. They're not aligned enough or tapped in enough to realize that things have shifted, and it's a slightly different reality, right? So yeah, today I was thinking, I got my fro, and I'm like, yo, that's my halo. I'm angelic today. That's how I feel, and I'll be able to, for example, call somebody when he was going to work, but this person was sleeping, didn't put the alarm. So I'm like, yo, the timing, yeah, like, I thought in my head, I'm angelic today. I got my halo. Plus another person, 3 people from Canada, 3 brothers, the mother, daughter, and the brother, I suppose. Yeah, they looked alike. Brothers from Kansas, yeah, so indigenous American. One of them lost the phone. They lost the phone close to where I was, right? And I didn't know that because I was on my phone. I had a couple of minutes where I was watching my phone. I dedicated those 2 minutes to reply to text or whatever, and then I just wanted to get rid of the phone. So I didn't realize that they lost the phone close to me, and somebody was passing by, found it, left it to the close by McDonald's, and I stayed there a couple of minutes stationary. I said, you know what, I might find somebody, So I stayed there, right? And they passed by. They were talking to each other. One was calling. I saw the situation. I didn't even hear it. And I said, did you lose a phone? The person said, yeah, I lost a phone. I said, yeah, it's inside. It's here in McDonald's. So what's my point? Whatever you project yourself, whatever you project your mind, there you can be. Like, that's angelic. I mean, for that person, I was that guardian angel in that given moment. Imagine losing the phone. You're on holiday. That's awful, man. That's awful. So a holiday can be ruined like that, but that's life. I wouldn't say I had something similar happening to me, but one day I was forgetting something in the airplane. Nothing of value was in my backpack, but I forgot that at the airport. I was I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, so there's always a reason that things happen to you. So I've been able to get that back, although they told me, no, you can't get that back, which I still don't understand why they told me that, but anyway. And my point is, sometimes karma manifests in a strange way. I believe that your future action have an influence to past outcomes. Again, future actions have an outcome to past actions. No, excuse me. The karma that you reap in the future. I wasn't even thinking about what I'm saying, to be honest with you. I just get distracted easily, for God's sake. So future actions. I said it well the first time. Future actions future actions have an influence on past outcomes, on past results. So for example, if I didn't do this today, it's an example, right? I'm not saying it would have been like that. If I didn't do this like this today, helping this person finding back her phone, perhaps I would have lost my bag on the airport, in the airport, right? Does it make sense? I know that we see time as linear, but don't see it from this reality. See it from above. See it from your spiritual eye. So that's how I see, you know. So I'm thinking outside the box, right? I'm thinking outside the box. And yeah, I even had something today, like somebody was arguing with me. I'm like, yo, why this person is arguing with me? Like, why is showing, you know, this attitude towards me? But again, I've been able to connect him, this person, to something that happened to me or around me in this week, and the dynamics were similar. So the universe is there to show me this person having this type of attitude because there's a parallelism with something that happened before. So this person is actually giving me the answer of what happened a few days before. So I've been able to give my reasonable judgment on the situation, right? So you shouldn't see the time as linear, you know. All these action, reaction, cause and effect. Yeah, it's true. But do not place it in a certain timeline necessarily. Past and then future. Future influence past. That's the reality, you know. It's, you know, it's kind of difficult to explain, but I know that whoever will watch this video will resonate with this. But you know, my message at the end of the day is to stay positive, you know, whereas you can do good, you know, help people, you know. I love to do this kind of stuff, man. I love to just help somebody that lost the phone. Oh, yo, that's your phone. Like, I do it naturally, you know. People walk by, pass, they don't care. Man, many people are just like that. They close an eye, like, you know, that's in my nature, you know. That's in my nature, yeah. And it's not because of an interest. It's not because I'm gonna gain something back because I slightly know the sciences of life. It's not because of that. You do it out of, you know, goodwill, generosity, you know. It's in the blood, man. It's in the blood. Yeah. Thank God it's in the blood, man. Spirit is in the blood. Remember, always that. Spirit is in the blood. Spirit is in the blood. Thank God I'm in my bloodline at the end of the day, you know. Regardless of anything. Thank God I'm in this bloodline, you know. And that's where I'm meant to be. You're always where you're meant to be. By the end of the day, you always come back to me. Mother Nature.